Welcome. Hello, good morning. Here we are, Sunday morning, gathered as community, making community what we need it to be today. Welcome to all of you in this space as we warm the circle, connect with the people around us. Welcome to those of you online who join us live or whenever we have a moment. We're part of this circle together. We make of it what we need of it, and so we will be community with each other today. To be spiritual seekers is to open ourselves to wisdom. And as seekers united in community, we open ourselves as community in many different ways. We open our hearts and our minds. We open our eyes and ears to the world and to each other. And we make sure that we are as safe a community and as inclusive a community as we can be. And that means we welcome everyone. So, regardless of how you're feeling this morning, regardless of what is occupying your mind or weighing your heart, you're welcome as you are. And we affirm that regardless of who we are, we're welcome, all ages and sizes, all cultures and colors, all genders and sexualities, all religions or many or none, all abilities and types and statuses, all people, period. So welcome this morning. As we continue in our series entitled Something to Sing About, this is the music of SSUC and what it means to our journey. We sing some songs regularly. We sing some songs every now and then. And what do they mean to our journey together and as individuals? What significance might they have to our spiritual lives? And today we focus on something always important to us as people and as community, love and justice. What those things might mean and how they are reflected in our songs. So, as we gather here together as community, let's light our community candle. This candle that we light every time we gather, that reminds us of our connection with each other, but more than that, our connection with all that is sacred, with all the universe, with all creatures, people, and the earth herself. So as we connect with one another, we know that we are part of this land that we're on. Thanks, Joanne, for helping us to acknowledge our place on that land.
Good morning. There we go. My name is Joanne Van Beek, and I'm the Spiritual Gathering Companion this morning, and it's just wonderful to be here this morning with you and lead you in our land acknowledgement. As a life cycle celebrant, I have the honor, really, of leading different land acknowledgements through the services that I provide. And I write a script, I send it to the family or the couple I'm working with, and it's basically up to them, do we include it or not in the script? And I'm very pleased that probably 95% of the people I work with keep it in. And so I don't know, it's just an indication to me that it's a growing tradition and ritual in our communities, and I appreciate that. So, at any gathering or special event, it's important to acknowledge the place and the space in which you are meeting. We do that each week together here at SSUC with a section in our gathering called our Land Acknowledgement. Not only are we here at SSUC, Spiritual Seekers United in Community at Southminster Steinhauer United Church in Edmonton, with its own rich history, and in Saskatoon as well, but we are also honored to be here on Treaty 6 territory land. We are situated on the ancestral lands of the Cree people, and for that, we are grateful. Here in the southwest corner of Edmonton, we are on the ancestral lands of the Papa-Chase First Nation, and for that, we are grateful. We are here in central Alberta, the land of our Métis brothers and sisters, and for that, we are grateful. We are here in the place where our ancestors chose to settle or where we ourselves have made a home, and for that, we are grateful. This is a place, a space, where we honor what has come before us as we seek to live in relationship with this land and all her peoples, and to work daily toward an attitude of reconciliation and partnership. May our words and our songs today genuinely symbolize our actions and our intentions to live out commitments of continued reconciliation with all of our Treaty 6 relations.
Our time for all ages is time for us to share in a story, to share in a time together on the carpet. I invite anyone who wants to come close, to come to the carpet or the front row or wherever you're at. It's all okay. Today, the theme for you kids might be feet and shoes, which sounds weird, but we're going to start off with that with a book called Praying with Our Feet. Sometimes we wonder, all of us, what it means to pray. And this is one important way to understand that. Oh, I should say it's by Lisa Weaver and illustrated by Ingrid Hess. Here we go. Praying with our feet. That's what my mom calls it. We're going to pray with our feet, she said. I wonder what that means. Let's figure that out. Following the footsteps of the peacemakers, that's what my dad told me we're going to do. Walking in the light. That's what our minister said at church last Sunday. We're going to walk in the light of love. Oh, okay. Lots of walking involved here. Today we're going to pray for peace with our feet. Too bad I can't walk that far, laughs my neighbor when I run over to tell him where we're going. I look at his wrinkly skin and white hair and the cane in his hand. I think he might be about 150 years old. Even though my mom says people don't really live that long. Then my mom calls to me. I wave goodbye to my neighbor and run through the yard to my porch. I bend down and strap on my sandals. I'm ready for the peace walk. People are gathering on the church lawn where the walk is going to start. I see a lot of people I know. They're my aunt. There's my aunt from across town with my baby cousin in a pack on her back. There are so many people, and we're all here to walk for peace. Our minister steps up to the front and starts us on a song. Let's see if you know this one. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, they know it. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. As I sing, I make funny faces to my little cousin to make her laugh. She bounces up and down in her perch. Mom winks and smiles at me. She knows how much I love my baby cousin. Oh, look, a map. When the song ends, we're off. We're going to walk all the way to a park on the other side of town. It's a long prayer, my mom says. I walk beside Dad. I point out to him all the different feet around us. Sandals like mine, sneakers, boots like the kind my grandpa wears when he works on his farm, office shoes on a woman who just came from work, my little cousin's bare toes wriggling, and even a pair of rollerblades. I guess prayers come in all shapes and sizes. As we walk, I spot green yard signs in front of many houses. I recognize those signs. I helped make them at church last weekend. Dad and I were in charge of stapling the posters to the wooden posts. When we were done, we put them in neat piles ready to hand out to anyone who wanted them. Look, this green sign says, "War is not the path to peace." Oh, the next page says that. They have a photograph of a mom holding a baby in her lap. It looks just like the way my aunt holds my baby cousin. Dad says this will help people remember that in the country where the war is, the people have families just like us. I also see blue peace signs. They say war is not the answer. When people fight with each other, Dad says, it's terrible and it hurts people. Dad says that a man named Martin Luther King Jr. said those words when there was another war. Dad says that Dr. King organized a lot of peace walks. Dr. King knew how to pray with his feet. As we walk on, I remember last week when Mom walked right into one of the office buildings downtown. She went with our minister and other grown-ups in our church to talk with some people who work in the capital city. I think this is the building they went to. I don't know what they did there. Let's see. Mom said they are our government representatives. They are some of the leaders who make decisions about what our country does. Mom told me she felt a little nervous and her legs were shaking. But she went anyway. She said it was important to tell our leaders what we think about peace. Later, I heard Mom tell my minister that not only were her legs shaking by the time it was her turn to speak, but so was her voice. But Mom said she kept thinking about the words of Jesus, like, love your neighbor. And so she knew she had to speak up. While we walk, I remember that my minister says the voice of Jesus is love. Every person is our neighbor, not just the people who live right next door to us, but people all around the world are our neighbor. And that makes me think about my 150-year-old neighbor who does live right beside me. I'm sorry he couldn't walk with us. He told me he wanted to come, and I believed him. He even put one of our church signs in the middle of his yard as soon as I brought one over to show him. But I guess his feet have gotten too old and too tired to pray. I'm thinking about my neighbor as I walk, when all of a sudden, I see him. There he is, my neighbor, standing beside his car at the entrance to the park. He's leaning on his cane with one hand and waving with his other hand at everyone walking by. When my aunt passes, he tickles my baby cousin's tiny toes and she laughs. I run up to my neighbor and hug him, but I am careful not to knock him over. You're here, I say gleefully. Yes, he answers, my feet may not be able to walk far, but they can still pray. I came here to stand for peace. Oh, see, he's not walking for peace. He's standing for peace. That's just as important. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. My mom and dad, my aunt and my baby cousin, my minister, my 150-year-old neighbor, and me, walking for peace, wiggling our toes, standing in the light of love. We're all praying with our feet. Oh, that's the end. That's a good reminder, this book. This book helps us remember that praying is not just something we do when we think about things or say certain things. Praying is what we do when we act and when we show people how we love and important things like that. So I'm glad that we could share this book with each other and remember all about our feet and our shoes, and that we all can act with love. Now remember, I said there was more shoes and feet kind of things to do in Kids Spirit today. You'll have to find out if you want to go and sort that out. Daisy and Ariane are here if you want to join them. and do that now. I have nothing from me today. Isn't that amazing? Everyone else, come forward as you like and share an announcement.
Thank you. I'm Claire Woodbury, and Harry Pauls and I, in just 11 days from now, will be leading 5 expansive spirituality online sessions starting October 11th, and it's going to be Wednesday evenings from 7 o'clock till 8:30. And we're doing it online specially for you online people to make sure that you are included, because you're a very special part of our congregation. Each session begins with a 30-minute presentation, followed by discussion time in small groups. And the presentations deal with the nature of SSUC transitions and give time to explore what transition can mean personally. And the 5 topics are going to be moving from where we've been to where we are, from God who intervenes to a mystery we call love, from a flawless Bible to a human document, from divine Christ to a human Jesus, and from church dogma to personal experience. And to register, just send your name and your email to me, Claire Woodbury at gmail.com. And you don't need to write it down because it's in the messenger this week. And you will receive an advance reading each and every week, and a link initially, well, every week, a link to the Zoom gathering. So, sign up, especially if you're online.
I am Sheila Parsons. I'm part of a team, Sherry Ann Chapman and Curtis Tufts, who we represent you and help you, your feet to pray in justice for Palestine. And one of our tasks is selling the Zatoun oil, which I am sure you have seen maybe on the table out there and you see up here. And this olive oil helps support the Palestinian people. The funds go directly to them, and there's no intermediary costs. And they have shipping costs, and it does, cover shipping. But other than that, it helps them in their plight, which is similar to the apartheid in South Africa. Now, the other thing, just to mention, some of you have asked for the small bottles, and we sold out during the summer, I'm pleased to say. But we have, because of our colleagues, purchased 3 more cases of the small 500 milliliter. So you don't see the small bottle up there, you just see the 2 big bottles. And that's $24 for the big ones, $19 for the small ones. So if you still want a small bottle, and perhaps, for a Thanksgiving hostess gift, we do have them. And I will be in the north, that's the lobby, the back, whichever you want to call it, to sell them today. The other thing that I'm here, as I said, representing you folks, is some of the work that the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign is doing. Right now, they are focused on a movement for anti-boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Now, at first, when I read the information sent to me, I thought it was our government that had tabled a bill to make anti-boycotting and divesting into law. And that was not correct. As I did the research, it's Britain right now. By the 16th of October, their bill is coming before their government and their parliament, and it is to stop boycotting and divesting funds, and Israel is behind this. I also found out at the same time that there is a movement in the United States from the Jewish Voices for Peace that also they're looking to try and make it into law. The other surprising thing to me was that in 2016, our government actually passed a bill, but it was only a bill in support of Israel and against divestment and boycotting. And that is slightly different because it doesn't make it into law and law against boycotting. Maybe some of these other governments will do the same thing. Our government said they didn't support a boycott or divesting of government funds. But you can tell how effective the divestment of funds, which the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, now jointly with Jewish Voices for Peace, is working. And that just means getting, especially the universities, to divest of all of their funds going to Israel. Israel has named this anti-Semitic, no surprise there. They see it as just a guise for anti-Semitic movement. But in fact, what most of the divestment is about, and it is having an effect on Israel, is about their treatment of the Palestinian people. And certainly you can get more information online. You will find there is a big panel from Britain that will be 11:30 Tuesday a.m. our time. And you just go to the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, to look for the link, and you can register and listen to members of parliament as well as some other activists talk about how undemocratic the bill is and the concern that is behind it. So I would encourage you to at least make yourself aware of this and the kind of problems that are facing the Palestinians. We need, in this case, to pray with our feet. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Esther Oakes, and I'm part of the organizing committee for Ye Olde Christmas Shop and Tea Room. This is a season of change, and we're bringing you a change in format from what was the cookie walk to a new and more inclusive kind of event. Imagine the colors gone from the trees, and the world is blanketed in snow, that the inside here in a nice warm place, there are tables surrounding this center part, and there are goods, artisans that brought their crafts, and they're there to sell them. And down the center is a much smaller version of a cookie walk. It's not where you choose the cookies and put them into your basket, but they'll be there wrapped for you and beautifully displayed to purchase. And you'll see outside, just in the foyer, an example of what these offerings will be. They're going to be beautifully wrapped as gifts, and you can take them as a gift, or you can take them for yourself to have. A gift to give or a gift for yourself. Please have a look at the display. You'll see how they're wrapped. You'll see some sign-up sheets. We need people to bake cookies, of course, and join us for this wonderful event, which will happen on December 2nd. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Margaret Hetherington. Well, you do need to get your calendars out. I'd like you to please save the date, the evening of November the 3rd. It's just about a month away. Friday night, the first Friday of November. Please save that date for an evening of music, fun, and refreshments with none other than our very own Aaron Bailey. Aaron is often, most Sundays, here with Rebecca and their 3 wonderful children. Aaron will be here at the piano and will have that amazing voice of his to share with us. So the entertainment's all in place. Now, some of us are gathering in the lounge right after this spiritual gathering, just to begin to give shape to the whole evening. So anyone interested in helping with the planning, would you please meet with us in the lounge about 11:15, 11:20? Oh, you know, there's ambiance, decorations, there's refreshments, there's how it will be promoted, there's hosting the actual evening. So please think about that. It's going to be a very enlivening evening. And now Socktober. Have you heard just a little bit about Socktober? Well, we've just had word from Operation Friendship, from Operation Friendship Seniors Society. Sometimes we forget it's the Seniors Society. October is their month for collecting 10,000 pairs of warm, winter-usable, new adult socks for seniors in the inner city, men's and women's socks. So Outreach Committee would really welcome if a couple of people from our midst would coordinate this effort for us this year. We haven't done it for a few years, and I think we're ready. You'll remember in the summer we had a gathering in of household items for Operation Friendship's new distribution center, and now another opportunity for socks. So Socktober, everybody, and I'm sure, you know, this is a short-term, very significant project. So somebody who has just a little bit of time, this is your project. Thank you. Please see me. Janet, I know you've got good things to share. Yes.
I'll only go this far. Okay, folks, guess what? Next week is Sunday. Oh, well, yes, there is a Sunday next week. And it's Thanksgiving Sunday, but instead of having turkey right after Sunday, please come and join us. The Affirm group is going to offer pasta, and then we're wondering if you could bring some other appetizers or some small things that people can eat, and we're going to share a movie with you and have a wee bit of a discussion, and then everybody can take off into the sunshine and enjoy the rest of the Thanksgiving weekend. So we have a sign-up sheet out there, as per usual, because I'll need a few people in the kitchen with me to receive the food that people will bring. And don't bring tons and tons, just bring enough for a few people. And then I'll need some folks that'll help me set up the tables afterwards, and then set some tables up in here so we can sit at a table and eat, because otherwise I'll be wearing the food and we'll be cleaning floors. And then afterwards, if somebody can help us with just putting the tables away and clearing up the food to give back to other folks, or that we can find to give to other people. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. It won't take all afternoon because I know you have another life besides here. Okay, see you soon.
Janet, can I add on to your announcement? I will say and. This comes from Ainsley, who is going to speak to us a little bit to introduce next week's video that we're going to watch. I just wanted to give a little teaser, if I could. So transgender and gender nonconforming people often face stress, anxiety, mistreatment, accessing the bathrooms of their choice. Providing access to non-gendered space can reduce or even eliminate that burden. So we're going to start having that conversation within our community in terms of watching a video from a person named Ivan Coyote. Some of you may have heard of that person. Ivan Coyote is a prolific author, a Canadian, And Ainsley will kind of introduce her connection with Ivan's books. And we'll watch a little short video on the importance of gender-neutral bathrooms in public spaces, and then have a brief discussion with each other. So not only the deliciousness of lunch, but the deliciousness of that conversation. So come and stay. Thanks, Janet.
One last quick announcement. You may have seen a notice in the Morning Messenger about possibly starting a ukulele circle. It's very simple. Just takes one finger on here, and you got a chord.
Oh,
That's good.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say any more. We've had lots of announcements. If you haven't had a chance, thanks to you, many of you, I've got about 17 people on the list, just trying to find a leader because I'm really a beginner. And if you still haven't had a chance, let me know, and we'll hopefully get started sometime this fall. Thank you.
Each week in our series, we've been singing a focus song. This is one we've sung many times and know fairly well. If you don't, it's really easy to learn because it's really short, and we're going to sing it a couple times, I think. So let's sing our focus song of the day, What Can I Do?
This section is Wisdom for Our Living. It follows very nicely with the song we just sang, What Can We Do? It's an excerpt from Rise Up and Salute the Sun by Susie Chasm. And she says this: to really change the world, we have to help people change the way they see things. Global betterment is a mental process, not one that requires huge sums of money or a high level of authority. Change has to be psychological. So, if you want to see real change, stay persistent in educating humanity on how similar we all are, rather than different. Don't only strive to be the change you want to see in the world, but also help all those around you see the world through commonalities of the heart, so that they would want to change with you. This is how humanity will evolve to become better. This is how you can change the world. The language of the heart is humanity's main common language. These are the words of an American writer, poet, philosopher. May we find wisdom for our living.
really, what question states more honestly our desire to be good people who want to bring ourselves and our values to the world than what can I do? In the same way that the book we read earlier talks about praying with our feet, doing action in terms of what we can do. Susie Chasm also speaks of that. And really, who are we if we're not asking these questions with our friends, our families, our communities, our world? What can we do? And where do we start? And Chasm really speaks well, I think, to this idea of where we start doing that. Stay persistent in recognizing how much more similar we all are than different. Don't only strive to be the change, but also help those around you see the world through the commonalities of the heart so that they would want to change with you. Those are such important words that speak to me of connection, that speak to me of justice and how we are with each other. What connection do we have to each other that bridges all the divides we place between us, other than the language of what is common in our hearts? Compassion, resilience, connection, justice, love, family. There's nothing we can talk about in community that's more powerful than words that speak that language. Someone reminded me on the phone the other day the reverberation, the vibration, the energy of people who center themselves around love somehow rings stronger and longer and on a higher plane than any others. I like phone calls like that. If it's about reminding each other how similar we are, finding common ground, common values, mutual interests, then it's also about getting to the places where we're able to elicit that from each other. Because we won't do it if we just stay on the surface with one another. Which also means that it's difficult work. And we might not get it right the first time, the second time, the third time. It takes the persistence Susie Chasm talks about. Hearing another person's story or experience and letting it spark where it resonates with you, and then sharing your own story with them. That ebb and flow back and forth, that searching and mining of the ground for what's common, what's similar, what's relatable, what's shared. That's a challenge that's worth taking up. I remember years ago sitting at a table with a man who was born in Iran. He came to Canada as a young married man, and he had a life very different from my own, but we were about the same age. I would never have met him except for an event that had brought both of our institutions' communities together at the same table. And on the surface, we had very little in common, but then we started talking about our grandfathers of all things. They were both railroaders. They both took their families across their respective countries, mine from Winnipeg to Smithers, his from somewhere in Iran to another place in Iran. They both raised families that struggled in those remote places. And I remember that we connected that morning over what we shared of our families, that despite our differences, our own two grandfathers struggled in very similar ways. And more than that, they wanted the same things for their families. They wanted a place to call home, they wanted somewhere safe, and they wanted their children to experience life more peacefully and lovingly than they did. So we were both grateful and somewhat awed at the commonalities we found, if that connection, as if that connection were somehow holy ground. We didn't mention a thing about spirituality or religion, but we somehow felt we were on precious, sacred territory. That's the language of our heart. the loves of our lives, the passions of our work, the kind of world we wish for our families? Is there anything as strong that will help us survive in a world of seemingly bigger divisions? Is there anything stronger than this language of the heart that will connect us in a world of disconnection? That's the microphone telling me to pause, wait. Our conversations cannot begin, can they, with, what do you think of this issue or that issue? Our conversations can't be about finding similar opinions on religion or politics or cultural practices or traditions or the news of the day. We absolutely must start connecting on a human level for our desires for the world, despite what's going on in it. We can start talking about what we want out of this life, what drives us to work hard, what stirs us to love. Now, those other things may come, because we'll want to ask the question again, what should we do? But we can't get to that unless we feel some kind of shared connection with each other to do the work side by side. So this is where this is going for me. The way of connection and critical work of finding that which ties us together as humans, that begins with common ground, but it doesn't end there, like I said. If we're intentional, this connection leads naturally to human justice. Because if we find what connects us about life's struggles and our shared desires, the world, the earth, coming generations, then we soon must ask, what do we do? What can we do to make those things possible and to make those things better? It was Cornel West who said, never forget that justice is what love looks like in public. If we consider ourselves loving people, this tells me, then I must feel that my love ultimately ends in justice. I cannot love if there's injustice standing in front of me. Or rather, my love isn't really love if there's injustice in front of me. There's a teaching in the Christian tradition that moves us from here to somewhere else. It comes from a community that was trying to live in a particular way, following the teachings of Jesus in the first century. A community that was wondering how they should judge good teaching from bad. Wisdom that's worth living or not. And here's what they said. They seemed to decide that these things needed to be discerned based on ethics, based on what life looked like in public. Here is that teaching. It comes from the first letter of John. Let's not talk about love. Let's not just talk about love, but live in the pattern of love with actions and true caring. In other words, let's see if we're for real. Let's see how it plays out in our lives. Then we'll know if it's legit. Are we doing what we say? If we've sung the question, what can I do? Then the song may also give us an idea of an answer. I'll sing with joy, I'll say a prayer, I'll bring my love, I'll do my share. Those are all actions. If there's a need, let's see how we can meet it. If there's an injustice, let's use our voices and actions together to bring some relief to that injustice. Spirituality, we can call it Christianity, but we can just as easily call it Judaism, Islam, atheism, humanism, or just plain wanting to be a good person. All spirituality is the act of putting human love into practice. So it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. That's just another one of those human-constructed barriers to real meaning and action. Another one of those divisions. Doesn't matter what we call ourselves. How are we putting love into action, into justice for each other in the world and our planet? So, That's all easy to say and hard to do. But wait, there's more. Here are the words of Charles Eisenstein. Without deep work on yourself, how will you avoid recreating your own internalized oppression in all you do? So often we see the same abuses of power, the same organizational dysfunctions among social change activists as we do in the institutions they seek to change. Why is that? Because we're all human. We've all got stuff, baggage. We've all got trauma, memory. And so, yes, of course, we're going to recreate those things in our lives if we're not careful. These two things, words and actions, or to put it another way, inner transformation and social transformation, they go together so closely because if we're not reflective about what we're doing, we'll just make the same mistakes over and over again. The emancipated will become the occupier. The abused will become the abuser. And we lovers and do-gooders and justice seekers will spin ourselves round and into the ground with nothing left to give. Unless we are holding love and justice together, and that those are not only outward but also inward focused. Love and justice for me, and love and justice for you. Love and justice for us, and love and justice for all. It goes together. We have to work on ourselves as we work on the world. That's one of the great balancing acts of the 21st century. We can only be as effective as we are aware. Together, our communities are capable of immense accomplishments and service, but we need to bring awareness to them, often unconscious dynamics at play within every group we're part of, within ourselves. So, two facets that work in tandem with each other. So we have love and justice, but we also have action and reflection. And this is really my point today. Action alone can go in 100 different directions for 100 different reasons, with the result of running around and trying to do everything and accomplishing little. That's on one side. Reflection alone is merely navel-gazing, merely spiritual and mental gymnastics, reasons that result in sometimes paralysis, getting stuck in our heads and in our own issues. So just like love and justice go together, so do action and reflection. Together, action and reflection create a model for us doing good work for good reasons that help ourselves to grow and change while doing some focused work and maybe making a difference for someone else. We know what to do. We've sung it, and in the context of finding common ground with others and holding together our inner reflection and our outer action, we will do it. We've always done it. We will continue doing it, even though it be hard and challenging. I'll sing with joy. I'll say a prayer. I'll bring my love. I'll do my share. And oh, how we'll grow in the process toward love and justice.
Well, that was some reflection, wasn't it? We come to the portion of our gathering where we strengthen our intentions in response to the message that we've just heard. Let us say together, may the sounds of our lives be filled with melody and lyrics that affirm, encourage, cherish, and impact our world in positive ways. We sing a joyous chorus with those who celebrate, and we sing mournful songs with those who struggle. We sing songs of strength in solidarity for those striving for freedom and safety, those working for peace and justice. We affirm that we all have a part and are invited into the singing. May we know that together through our work, we can create music that will make the world more beautiful. As today's music comes back to our hearts and minds throughout the week, may we be reminded of the values on which we are centered, the love with which we live, and the rhythm of compassion and justice that direct the music. May it be so. And now the time has come for us to change the light. It's time to leave this special place and to take our place in the world. May you go forth with a song in your heart, knowing that the light you carry within you can change the world. Remember, your light is needed to help the world evolve. As the song we are about to sing will remind you, it takes but one moment to light the way for a better way.
Allow me just 30 seconds to introduce you to a new song. We have a lovely group of people who will help us through this today, but the verse and the chorus repeat a few times, so we will get the hang of it, I promise. This is a song I wrote last year because strengthening our intentions is something we do each week when we join our voices together in unison, hoping for something that may manifest in the days and in the weeks ahead as we share it with each other. And I thought we needed a song to express how we strengthen each other and the intentions that we wish for our world. So let's sing together this new one.